Declan, so I think the first question should be, how are you? How are you feeling? Because after Bournemouth, Mikel mentioned that there was this anger and that you should turn that into fuel. So how do you make sure you turn these feelings into motivation for this final stretch?
Yeah, I think it's obviously a massive final 3 games for us. Obviously our Premier League run of late hasn't been the best. Obviously we lost against Bournemouth. There's been a few wins in there, but also too many draws where we haven't seen the game out. But, you know, 3 massive games to end the season. And yeah, we want to go out on a high. You know, that's the message from the manager. That's the message from the players. We want to finish with a strong feeling going into next season.
How do you make sure there isn't a deflation because you're not fighting for a title anymore?
Well, that's down on us as players, you know. That's down on our mentality and how much we want it, you know. We're football players at the end of the day. We can't just choose when to turn up. You know, it's a chance to go to Anfield, which is an amazing stadium to play at and put on a performance and hopefully win the game. You know, that's what we're going to set out to do. Like I said, 3 massive games to go and Liverpool being the first. So we want to take a lot of energy there and do the best we can.
With Liverpool, when they won the league, you guys were so involved in everything that was happening in Champions League. Do you feel like, in a way, this weekend's going to be that moment where you're going to look and think, that could have been us?
Yeah, look, we've obviously seen what they've done. Massive credit to them. Been the most consistent team throughout the season. You know, performed to a really high standard and ability. So yeah, you know, cannot knock them, can't take anything away from them, you know. Everyone else fell short, and in the end, you know, they were probably the strongest team in it. But it's a great chance, you know, to challenge ourselves against the champions. And you know, we believe on our day that we can beat anyone. So yeah, we need to go to Anfield and give it absolutely everything.
It must be so frustrating to get so close and see the progress and not getting there, lifting the trophy. How do you make sure you don't get that tag of the nearly team, the almost team?
Yeah, obviously it's going to be, what, 3 seasons in a row that we've come close to winning the Premier League. It's disappointing. It's really, really tough to take, but you have to be able to you know, to take it in to be able to move on. And it's hard to see other teams lift trophies when you've been in and around it and competing, and obviously that's the dream, to win the Premier League. But like I said the other night after our game in PSG, you know, sometimes you have to suffer these small losses in life in order to win, you know. Every top player who's won a trophy's lost along the way, and they've never stopped believing or dreaming. You know, I'm 26. Half of our players in our team are so young. You know, this doesn't define us now. You know, we've got a whole career ahead of us to win stuff. So we're going to keep pushing, keep setting out for more, and this is what this club deserves. You know, we've been really, really close, but until we actually get our hands on a trophy again and you know, start to win big things, I think then people will start to say Arsenal are back. You know, there's no point just being in and around it and not winning. But yeah, I think we're really close. We can sense it. Again, this year is, like I said, it's really, really disappointing, but we're not going to let our heads drop. We're going to keep trying to deliver for the fans and for ourselves.
How do you personally deal with it, with getting so close? Because it's so clear how much you guys want to win.
Yeah, it hurts. It's sickening, you know. I really, really care. It's a sport I love. It's a sport that I want to succeed in. You know, winning something with Arsenal would be absolutely incredible, and you know, I've still got 4 or 5 years left on my contract here to do that. You know, so the time hasn't happened at the minute, but I fully believe in my time here that we will. But yeah, look, it's tough to take. Don't get me wrong; it is really tough when you lose at anything in any sport. You know, if you have that winning mentality, it's hard to digest. But also, you have to hold your hands up when other teams have been better than you and also deserve to win it. And Liverpool have this year, so I'm not one of them that will make excuses. Fair play to them. They fully deserved it.
We're here talking about emotions and how to deal with things. And Arsenal has shown that you guys can turn up on big occasions and really step up. But also, when you drop so many points in the league, there are those questions of emotional stability. So how do you see the team emotionally? Do you feel like you could be and you should be more stable emotionally?
I think we're an emotionally really strong team. I think we've just been through patches this season where in the Premier League for sure, we've dropped way too many points on winning positions, took our foot off the gas, been 1 or 2-0 up in games and let other teams back into it, where it's where we need to have that killer instinct, you know, and kill the game off and don't be naive and don't start to do things that we don't train, you know, don't start to take loads and thousands of touches and do silly things on a football pitch that can get the opposition back into the game. And I think too many times this season that's happened, whereas last season it didn't. But look, football's a learning curve, you know. We're here to learn, and I think next season, again, even with the 3 games to go, it's a great chance to go out and perform and put things right. And then obviously going into next season, you know, there's obviously massive pressure to deliver again.
I imagine you've thought about it so many times, and it's never just one thing when you get so close to winning a title in a row. But what is it about this season specifically that you feel it was like the biggest learning curve in getting so close?
I don't know really. Look, it's not an excuse if you take your best 4 or 5 players out of any team in the world and still try to compete, be in the semi-final of the Champions League, be second in the Premier League. Not a lot of teams would be able to do it, you know, losing your best 5 players. And, you know, we've really had to put that to the side and go out there as a group, whoever's been fit, and try and deliver the best we can. And we have really, really maximised ourselves in terms of the players we've had available. But I think, yeah, just learning in terms of the main thing is availability, you know, needing everyone fit, needing everyone available, needing your strongest squad, you know, squad of 20 to compete in every competition. And that's, you know, that's how the Man Cities, the Liverpools have been able to compete, because they've had their best players available. They've had amazing players in every position that are able to push each other to make it competitive. And yeah, I think next season going into that, I think we need to make sure that we're all way more available as a group and that we can have our strongest 11 out there to compete at all times.
How do you see the difference and the distance between Arsenal and Liverpool right now?
Not big at all.
Do you think that the table doesn't reflect that?
In my opinion, no. Look, it's a game of football. We played against Liverpool loads of times over in the times that I've been here. We've obviously won a couple, they've won a couple. I wouldn't say the distance is like that or like that. I'd say we're an evenly balanced sides between us. But ultimately, they've won the league, and like I said, credit to them. It's down to us to prove that we can do that, and I'm sure that one day we will.
How important is it to finish second?
Yeah, it's massive. No one wants to finish second, of course. Finishing first is the aim and the goal, but with the season that we've had, and like I said, the numbers we've had available, to finish second and to still be pushing up there will still be good. It's not what we want as a club, because Arsenal, us, the fans, the manager, we all deserve more, and we're pushing for more. We don't want to just be labelled as that club that always finishes second, you know, because we have the full belief and know we have the quality to win stuff. But second is what we want to achieve, and you know, we've got 3 games to do that, so let's see how we can do.
And finishing above Man City, is it an extra element for you guys, or you don't really?
Yeah, well look, Man City have been on a really good run. They had a poor run throughout the season, and they turned it around and gone on a really good run, and credit to them for doing that. But we're interested in what we can do and what we can control, and that's us playing our last 3 games and hopefully winning all 3 to end the season on a high.
And you've made it to 100 games for Arsenal against Bournemouth. It's been a long journey, but how different are you? Because when you were at West Ham, you already looked very composed, very mature. You were already a leader. So where do you see the differences since you arrived?
Yeah, I think I was doing all of this at West Ham, but maybe just not getting the credit, you know, because West Ham probably wasn't watched as much as Arsenal were. I was playing really well for West Ham, really consistent, week in, week out, was the captain. But obviously since I've come to Arsenal, there's probably more eyes, more people watching, it catches the eyes more of other people, so more people giving their opinions. I've just tried to go about my job and do the best that I can, you know. I think that's been my main thing, is to be consistent, and lucky enough I've been able to do that. There's obviously so many good players in the Premier League now. So yeah, I know I've just got to keep playing well, keep playing consistently well, and keep pushing myself, and good things will come.
And what about the layers on your game? Because you're playing more as an 8. Do you have references to people that you look at as an 8 and that kind of inspire you, or the aspects of your game that you develop to feel so comfortable playing more up front?
Nah, not really, to be honest with you. Obviously, Frank Lampard was the best at arriving from the box into from midfield into the box, scoring goals. Obviously, I come here as a number 6, and then managers, after a conversation with him, likes me more box to box, which I really, really love as well, because I can show all different types of qualities.
Is it more fun?
Yeah, it's more fun for sure. I like answering the critics. You know, a lot of people said he's got to score more, he has to assist more. I think my numbers in 100 games for Arsenal in the Premier League has been really, really good for a midfielder. So I've just got to keep improving, you know, keep improving, keep working hard, and yeah, I think there's still so much more to come from me. You know, I feel young, I feel fresh, fit. Just got to keep going and demanding more of myself, which I'm doing.
Well, good luck then for
Thank
the
you
rest
so
of the
much.
season, Faye.
Thank you.